Hello, Retro Kev here. Bit unusual, I know. I'm actually out on the road and I thought I'd take this opportunity. I'm not driving, obviously. Be an amazing driver if I could do that, or a very dangerous driver. No breaking the law, but I thought I'd take this opportunity just to have my little say on the whole Sony announcement, really. Obviously going all digital 2028, and I suppose in the long run they won't be the only ones who'll do it. And rather than sort of put something out straight away, I thought I'd have my little few days to think about it and watch other people's YouTube videos on the subject, and then just think about it a little bit. And I think overall it isn't a great thing, really. Obviously, to people like myself, the aging gamer who loves collecting physical games, it's not a great thing. And I spoke to my son about it, and obviously my son is brought up in the world of digital gaming, really. He knows about physical copies. Actually, we use a lot of physical copies still. Obviously he knows I love the old retro gaming, but his generation, it is all about digital, really, and they absolutely have no issue with it. But then obviously I don't think it's all well and good either when I think about it, because there's different arguments, isn't there? And I've watched videos of different areas of the whole discussion being talked about, if you like. But if it's a financial thing, it's all well and good. If they think it's going to be a little bit cheaper, and it probably is, not bringing out a physical copy of the game, then when the time comes, if, for argument's sake, taking into account inflation, a game in 2028 is maybe 80, 90 quid or 80 or $90, whatever, well, is it suddenly going to dip a little bit? Are they going to say, you know what, it's been a little bit cheaper to make these games, we're going to pass it on to the consumer? Now, I'm not saying they're definitely not, but my gut feeling is they'll think, oh, that's not bad, we can make a little bit more money here and there. Whether they might not, but what do most companies do when it comes to that? And there's also the other argument I've read about, which is a sort of the whole green argument, and I get that. I'm the sort of person who does, I'm quite happy to do my bit for the environment, etc. But I did a little bit of research on that, and you can, obviously the boxes are made out of plastic. They can be made out of recycled plastic. It doesn't have to be some high grade plastic or anything, so that's not a big issue, I don't think. And even the discs, now you can't make totally gaming discs out of recycled material, but you can use older discs. Apparently they can do stuff with older discs where they can sort of help use them again, if you like, for making physical discs for games. So it's, I understand the whole green side of it, but they could do it. And obviously there's the cardboard. Some of the companies now are bringing out games the cardboard. I know they're not so great and they sort of degrade quicker, but it's still nice to have something as well as a disc, obviously. So there's that point of view. And also the other thing is, it's a bit ironic, as other people have said, at the same time they made the announcement about 2028 all digital, or mostly digital by the sounds of it. They announced that they're not supporting the PS3 anymore. So there is irony in that, really, because I know the PS3 is an old console now, but obviously they're not going to support those games. And you all know as well as I do, once a company's games that are online, etc., once they don't get the support, they do become unplayable reasonably quickly. Not all, but some of them do. So that sort of ends the life to a degree of those games. And now, if you bear with me, if you then use that whole idea, the whole concept of not being able to play a game because it's not supported, well, you get to, let's jump forward to 2028, where, let's for argument's sake, I don't know, GTA 8 or Resident Evil 9, 10, whatever it will be, comes out at a time, and it only comes out on a digital version. Impossible to get a physical copy. So that's all well and good. You might buy that, download it, think, yeah, I want that game, I really like that game, or I should really like it. And then jump ahead again, maybe to 2033. Now that sounds a long time, but listen, the last 35 years of gaming in my life have gone very quickly, thanks. A lot quicker than I'd like. So let's say someone like, I don't know, my son, for argument's sake, bought a game. He's then in his mid-20s, he's working, he's got a mortgage to pay, all the things about bills, money can be hard to come by. Spent 80 quid, or if you're in America or whatever, $80 on a game, and then they make an announcement 5 or 6 years later, they're not really supporting that game anymore, by the way. Sorry about that. So there is no having that game anymore in any version. As I said, with the PS3 games, unsupported games can become unplayable quite quickly. So in those terms, you never really owned it, did you? You never had a copy because there was no physical copy. You were sort of loaned it via your PS 6 or 7 or whatever the console is at the time. And I think there's definitely something lost there. You've lost a bit of power. You have definitely lost a bit of control. And of course there's the other things like eBay. I buy loads of my games on eBay, and I sell a lot of games on eBay. Not a load, but you know what I mean. I play a game, finish it, and if it's a game that I think I don't really want that in my collection, I may be able to get 10-20 quid back, and then I can move that towards another game. This obviously becomes impossible with digital only, so there's that side of it as well. It's getting rid of the second hand market. I think that's my biggest bugbear. You know, they've taken that power away from people essentially. But I've watched a couple of YouTube videos of people who you know a lot more about gaming than me, and etc. Got millions of followers, and some of them think it may not be something that will last forever. So, you know, a bit like we have a retro movement now. In 10-15 years from now, there could be a movement where, you know what, hey, let's bring back physical. You know, let's make a whole thing out of physical. It wasn't a great idea. I suppose sales will dictate. Sales will ultimately dictate what happens. If you know, the other thing you've got to think about is a lot of us older people, we buy the games for our children or our 16, 17 year olds because, you know, 80, 90 quid's a lot of money. And as I said, when these people are 24, 25, they might think, you know what, I don't actually want to sort of download a game that might not be mine properly in 5 years. Because people will start to think like that when there's less money in their pocket. But the whole thing is up in the air, and we will see. You know, let's hope we're all around, us old retro gamers, to see what happens in the next 10, 15, 20 years with the whole digital physical thing. But anyway, I thought I'd give my little take. It's getting really hot in this lorry now. Luckily I've got aircon in my lorry this week, but I've shut the windows while I'm sat here so I don't get any noise. So sorry if the sound hasn't been great, because I've got my phone tucked in the visor here and the microphone's hidden a little bit. Yeah, that's my take on the whole physical digital thing that's been announced recently. Anyway, I better hit the road again soon. Take care of yourselves. There'll be another video at some point soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, maybe this weekend. Take care. Bye bye.